Hey there, Red versus Blue fans. This is Ed Robertson, better known as that guy from that band Bare Naked Ladies. Even better known as Captain Butch Flowers. I was probably on the RVB tip later than a lot of people. I read an article in some sort of game magazine written for adults. Anyway, there was a little article on machinima, which I had never heard of up until that point, and there was quite a big recommendation to Red versus Blue. I went to the website as soon as I was in a hotel room, and I was absolutely blown away. I thought it was such a great idea and so funny, like I'm sure everybody else does. So I simply wrote a piece of fan mail. Just said, wow, that's the funniest, coolest, most innovative thing I've ever seen, and really enjoyed it. And I play in this band, Bare Naked Ladies, and Bernie contacted me right away. He wrote back to me and said, oh, cool, you're in the band Bare Naked Ladies. That's awesome that you like our stuff. Right on. And I said, oh, we're just starting on this pre-production rehearsals for a big tour right now. You know, it'd be cool if we could work together sometime. And Bernie said, well, we could have stuff ready for the tour by tomorrow, which seemed insane to me. But they got together and wrote some really funny stuff and recorded it and uploaded it to an FTP site. And from the arena where my band was doing production rehearsals, we downloaded it and had it running in the show the following day. Anyhow, the first piece, they talk about, you know, taking some time with the audience while we clean up the big mess of cereal that we made. It was actually over a big dance sequence that we did for a song called Shopping. We had these 4-5 shopping carts, kind of Busby Berkeley overhead thing. Anyway, it made a huge mess of the stage, so we needed a few minutes to clean up afterwards. So that was a great spot to run the Red versus Blue clip. It was funny because it was blasting through our monitors every night. So for whatever how many dates that tour was, 40 dates or something, we listened to that clip over and over and over and over and over again, and it was broadcast up on the big screens. I'm not sure if when the guys did these spots, I don't know if they'd ever seen the band live. They said they were fans, but who knows? People always say that. But they seemed like very nice guys. I think Matt and his wife were actually pretty big fans. Bernie may or may not have been. Who can tell with that guy, right? But anyway, a bunch of them came out to the show that we did in Austin, Texas. I think it was at the Backyard, which is a really cool outdoor venue. Anyway, it was so cool to have the guys in the audience and have them see the reaction to their pieces in front of a live audience. It was really very cool. But the coolest thing was afterwards having those guys on the tour bus, which I have fully dialed out for Xbox multiplayer carnage. And so to have a bunch of the Red versus Blue guys on my tour bus playing Halo multiplayer Slayer, first of all as a Halo fanboy, and second of all as a huge RVB fanboy, to actually play with those guys in person, it was totally fun. You know, because of course they all make their characters with the right color armor and stuff from the series, and then to hear their voices coming out and by the way, I destroyed them all. That was the best part. Jeff could not even turn around before I got him with a headshot just about every time. That's totally untrue. I was destroyed. If you've ever played with these guys, you know they're actually really awesome at the game too. But it was fun. The next time I went through Austin, I called up Bernie again, and Bernie took me out to the famous Kreutz's barbecue joint. And that was the one time I actually bested him, because he always beats me on Halo. But sitting down in front of a table of barbecue, I think I have no equal. Although Matt wasn't there, Matt strikes me as a guy who could down some barbecue. And then I think the next day, some more fellas came out to the show. That my memory on that's unclear. I remember the barbecue, and then I think we even went to see a movie. I can't remember. think we maybe met up with Jeff at a movie theater and went to see a movie after seeing Saraval, but I can't remember the movie. You'll have to ask Bernadette Burns. So when Bernie and Matt asked me to do some phone answering, I got right on that. Excuse me. Sorry about the interruption. That was Gus calling just to say once again how cool he thinks I am. And then there's always this uncomfortable. I'm like, anyway. And Bernie, by the way, that's not his real name. You probably have guessed that because Bernie Burns is just too tidy a package. His real name is Bernadette Burns, which doesn't roll off the tongue so easily and evokes a certain frizzy-haired 70s pop chanteuse, but we'll call him Bernie so that everybody knows who we're talking about. I remember there was a huge back and forth between Bernie and I because the filters that they put on the voices on the actual clips that you get on the DVDs or online is quite severe and kind of a tinny, distorted filter that obviously makes it sound like a voice coming out of a helmet over a bad little comm system. But it was too tinny and distorted to play in an arena. It was either like annoyingly hard on the ears or just inaudible entirely. So we had to keep going back and forth and ramping back the filter. And it was still important that it sounded like the red versus blue voices that everybody was familiar with. But it had to have a lot less of the filter. Otherwise, it was completely inaudible in a big rock show arena setting. So that's that's some red versus blue stories from me. And that's about it. It's just I'm thrilled the guys asked me to do some commentary on here. I hope you found it useful or entertaining or perhaps even both. I was absolutely thrilled when the guys asked me to do a voice in the series. It was a total honor to do it, and I just hope they keep somehow figuring out how to slip me into the story, or if not, have me do a voice of somebody else, because I'm just such a fan of the series and a fan of those guys. It's just cool to know cool people who are doing cool stuff, and you can do your cool stuff with them. So there you go, folks. Red versus blue.